All right, Nothing Stronger Show. We're going to be talking to more members on their stories of strength. We talked to Renee last month. We're going to be talking to Deb Hayes today on how she find us, what she does at Nothing Stronger, and how strength has changed her perspective of what she can do in the gym. So, Deb, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tim and Jen.
First question is, how did you hear about Nothing Stronger and why did you decide to reach out to us?
I heard about Nothing Stronger from a post. It was on a Facebook group, and I can't remember. I went actually back to find it because I don't know what I was searching for. I had just had a partial knee replacement and my PT was ending soon. And I really was at a point where, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do next. I don't know. Do I just continue walking? Is this it? And that post stuck out to me. I think I took a screenshot and I went back and I looked you guys up. And then I think I got brave and I sent an email inquiry. And then I think, Jen, I talked to you first, I feel like. And so that opened the door. And then just from talking to you, I mean, it was a long conversation and it just immediately I thought, I think this could be something that's going to be really helpful for me. It's like, it's sort of going to be my, like, the extra training wheels after PT. It's just sort of going to like get me where I'd like to go, which at that point I didn't exactly know where that was.
Yeah, we always say that it's a good way to bridge the gap. Like Jen's a good stop to bridge the gap between traditional PT and like what the heck do I
Mm-hmm.
do? So that was June
Yep.
2024. You met with Jen. What did you guys do? Like why something happened in that room where you just got bought in and you thought, gee, like lifting weights would be the next proper step to this. So you guys talk about like, what happened in that room and why did you get so bought in on strength training?
Okay, so wait, the first part is what happened when I first met with Jen.
Hmm.
Is that the first question? Okay, so I think I mean I didn't honestly didn't know what to expect, but I'm pretty much an open person. Like I'm open to, if Jen wants to try something, I'm really all for it if it's going to help or she thinks it might help. So I think I was really interested in hearing how the different modalities she was going to use, and then understanding how what she was going to do was going to ultimately help build the strength so that I could get out onto the floor of the gym and start doing what the other people were doing, and how it was going to be a tandem process, right? It wasn't just my knee wasn't just going to get fixed, like Jen was just going to like wrap it up and then I would be ready to go. It was going to be kind of a work in progress. There was another part to that
Well,
question.
I'm definitely interested with like Jen, your side, what was your first meeting with Deb like, and where do you see her path going forward?
Yeah, so I think, when we first met, Deb had talked to us about, some of her primary concerns were obviously the function of her knee
Mm-hmm.
and some other history that could be playing into the knee. So the history of the low back issues, sometimes it would radiate and kind of come up the leg from the knee. And so I think really the goal of our meeting was to address how a lot of these interplay with each other, right? And the fact that you got to feed your system with some healthy movement patterns, and they don't have to stick around forever, right? It doesn't have to be, I'm going to wake up and just for the next 30 years say that I'm going to have back pain or I'm going to have knee
Mm-hmm.
pain. There's a way to go about and to figure out how that all interplays with each other. And so really the initial comprehensive eval is to understand the subjective history, to talk about all the things that might interplay with that, and then to go through what do we functionally look like right now, right? Like it's not just about isolated strength of your quad or your VMO or your hip, right? But what do you look like when you stand up and you attempt to move, or just in a primary standing position? And so we took some pictures and really tried to educate Deb about how everything was connected together, and
Mm-hmm.
where to go from here. And I think the biggest thing, right, her intention was to be able to move into that strength training realm. And she just wasn't ready for that, emotionally and physically and
Yeah.
everything like that. But I think that her giving us that opportunity to with her, she could see what the groups were about and see that they were really customized and individualized to that person. So I think working with me
Mm-hmm.
and having me being able to have that conversation with Tim and Jacob about, hey, this is Deb, this is exactly what we want to do. These are some of your goals. This is the types and progressions of exercises that we're looking for, really helped to kind of ease the mindset of that. And so I was just looking through your kind of initial intake and some of and then so the last part of it is goals and expectations, right?
Uh-huh.
goals, right? You said, I want to walk up the stairs and not have a creaky knee. I want to get out of bed in the morning and not have a stiff back. You want to be able to enjoy going on walks and doing things with your kids and your husband, and your dog. You want to feel good as you start to go through this next phase of your life cycle. I think for my questions, like, how do you feel you're going through that?
Mm,
Like, do you feel like you've hit some of those goals? And obviously, some days are better than others. But do you feel like in your time that you've been here in a year and a half now, right? Like, do you feel
yeah.
like you've started to meet those goals and expectations?
Absolutely. It's actually funny to hear you say that, just like to go up and down the stairs. And I think, wow, there definitely was a point after that knee replacement where I thought, I don't know if I'm ever going to have full range of motion. It was very discouraging, I guess. And so after meeting with you, and then, I like to say it was like watching what the big kids were doing out on the floor in the gym, right? It's like, you start and like do the stretches. And then I remember being like, I want to try what they're doing. And so I guess I love the team approach, right? I had a lot of fear, but I felt like you guys had my back, like between the two of you, right? Like you were going to make sure I was okay. The fact that you two were communicating on a regular basis, not just about me, but everyone else that's out there, right? Like is such a feeling of trust. I guess I trust that you guys are going to take care of me. That if I want to try something, that maybe I shouldn't be, adding the extra plate on the thingy. It's not time yet. I can still get there, right? The improvements I've made, and I feel forever grateful. Absolutely. Yeah.
You have a lot of experience on Jen's side of sports medicine and my side of strength
Yeah.
training. With Jen's side, you have also experience with a traditional PT setting, and with Jen, who doesn't go through insurance for a whole
Yep.
list of reasons.
Yep.
What was the biggest difference with seeing Jen
Mm.
versus traditional physical therapy? Like, what was the biggest difference between that?
Well, immediately, because I've gone through two sort of formal physical therapy treatments now, was the fact that, Jen wasn't constantly having typing things into her computer and taking notes, and then that I was her only focus, and that she didn't have two other patients, doing something else on their own. Right. That's been my experience with physical therapy specifically, but that there was a lot more to it than what I had experienced in the past. And I think, Jen, you're humble, but you are incredibly bright, and you have so much information that you share in a way that's very it makes a lot of sense, even if you have to repeat it 20 times to the same person because she can't remember what's attached to what and why is that hurt or why is it working. So for me, it was a really positive, like, wow, I don't ever want to have to go back to that other kind of PT where you do feel like you're waiting to be seen or to have someone pay attention to you.
I think too, you talk about the whole knee being discouraging.
Mm,
And that process of like, when do I get better, right? And I think everybody comes at exercise pre or post injury with the expectations of, I should feel better if I've done something for
mm,
4 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever the time frame was. I should feel better, right? And I think that if you're doing exercises maybe twice a week, right, with traditional
yeah.
physical therapy, or not compliant to your home exercise program, I think it can feel like you're doing, you're putting the time in, but are you really putting the time in, right? And
Mm,
so I think the one thing about you allowing that transition to the gym happen was to know that even after you were done working for me, did you feel 100%? No, but you felt strong enough, and comfortable enough, more importantly, to be able to step onto that, out into the gym. And I think that's really, we talk about time it takes to unravel some of these things, longstanding pathologies and things that have just been ingrained and implemented into your function and who you are. It doesn't transform overnight, but the fact that you're consistent and you've seen those strength gains and you've seen those mobility changes and motility changes, like, I think that is certainly been the most like rewarding part for me to see in your experience, is that like you didn't give up. And even when things,
mm,
you wake up one day and your knee doesn't feel super awesome, you know that you don't have to give up, right? And you know
right.
that it gets better, and however, whatever that time frame is during that. And so I think that has, like I said, I think that's been one of the best parts for me to see, is that you've really just embraced it, and you're like,
Mm,
just going to keep moving forward, and keep the smile on your face and everything. So
So let's talk
yeah,
about that though, because you transitioned to the strength train.
yeah,
Were you nervous about strength train, and what were your hesitations about it, if you had any hesitations?
yeah. Well, in reflecting all this, I worked with personal trainers since my 20s, and I'm now in my I guess I'm officially like late 50s now. So I knew the stuff. I've heard, like, I had an idea of how your body's supposed to move, and the benefits. But it had been such a long time, and I knew I was not strong, and I knew I felt weak, and I knew where I wanted to go, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work this time. And to be honest, I'd always worked one on one, and so I really wasn't sure how was a small group. How was that going to feel? How, was I going to feel like I was getting enough attention? Was I going to be more self conscious? What was it going to be? And it had completely the opposite. I mean, I don't think I could love it any more than I do.
and I think you found a community in the people. Like, you are that person that puts your heads down, and works really hard while you're here, but you're
Mm-hmm.
also that person that embraces the community of, seeing, even if it's not people in your class, but that transition period in between the classes. And I think that people do a really great job, you included, of like building each other up while
Mm-hmm.
you're here, right? And
I
go ahead.
sorry. No, I think that's one of the hidden gifts of it, really. The unexpected, like, there is a community here, and there is a place for me here, and I love connecting with people, and maybe more than I think I was missing that in my other part of my life, and so that I found it in the gym, and I love coming in 3 times a week now, and having Brody greet me at the door, and then other people, how's your weekend? How's your daughter doing? Like, and feeling that support from other people, and yes, knowing when someone else is in there, like doing the basic exercises at first, like I was there, and I know you're like looking around, sort of going, oh gosh, like, is that going to be me, or I don't know, how am I going to fit in here? Um,
What would
yeah.
you, to that point you just said, what would you tell a woman over 50
Mm,
who's on the fence about strength training? Maybe they know they need to do it, but they have a little bit experience, but like they're on the
hmm
fence if they just start. Like, what would you tell that woman who's just considering strength training?
I think a lot of us, at least for me, it's fear can hold you back, and I think for some women, especially the older we get, if you're not what your physical body isn't maybe what it used to be, and you're struggling with some health issues, and you sort of are like, I know I need to do it, but it really is fear. Walking through the door can be scary. And so on the other side of that, the biggest gift I think you can give yourself as a aging woman is strength and the commitment to your body. And I think picking up the phone or walking through the doors of Nothing Stronger and having a conversation, right? Just having a conversation doesn't mean you have to like sign up right then and there, but I don't know.
I think that's a
Thoughts?
good answer. I think, everyone has that, what do they call it, gym intimidation.
Mm,
They're fearful, and taking that first step is everything. And we always tell people, just give us a call and talk to us on the phone. And if you're going through an injury, or if you need evaluation, just like call Jen and like talk to her about it. Like, she's in the end, she's gonna put your mind at ease. And if you want to
yeah,
come to evaluation, just come on through. But she has that gift of putting people's minds at ease when
yeah,
their life seems chaotic due to
yeah,
injury.
yeah.
Always knows what's going on underneath, and same with us is that, it's every time a free phone call, like jump on and just, make sure this is going to be right for you and it's
hmm
exactly what you're looking for. But that
And
is important.
it's not one size fits all. I think that's the other thing. I think people may have conceptions in their head about what it is in the gym and what it means to strength train, and it's not. It can be so much more. And I think that's what I love too, is that just because I can't, the bar, the bench press thing, right, or I hate push-ups, there are other ways I can strengthen those muscles that I'm still getting the benefit. And I think you've helped me see that, right? I don't have to be doing what she's doing over there to still get the
Yeah,
benefits of strength
yeah,
training. So.
exactly. There's so many ways to progress from just a little bit of weight. It's not all this weight in the world, or volume or
Mm-hmm.
tempo. There's a thousand ways to progress. But Jay, do you have anything you want to say?
Jen, oh me. Um,
No,
no, I
Jen.
think Jen, Jen.
I was just gonna joke around and say, no, you've sent your entire family here.
I know, and I really because
4
I
kids.
No, but isn't it true? I think, and when there's something that you believe in and has made you feel so good. I didn't get to say this, but I've told you this. I've been to gyms and I've never been more committed to my own fitness and prioritize this than I have. I mean, I am consistent. I've never been this consistent about exercising and going, and it's the highlights of my week. I'm not saying yesterday it was a disgusting day. It wasn't the first thing I wanted to do, but I did it. And I think when you are excited about that and you feel good and you want to share that with others, to share that good feeling with other people.
Great take. Awesome. Jen, any closing thoughts?
We love having you, Deb
We
Hayes.
absolutely love
Our
having you.
gym would not be complete without you, my friend.
I just love you guys. I just really, and the thing that I always say to people, to be thanked for coming into the gym. That always, no, I think, no, it's really nice. It's just like, thank you for coming. And it's the fist pump. And you're like, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Oh, trust me, this is like this is it's all a dream to us. It really is that we were talking about this thing 15 years ago together, and we truly and honestly mean like thanks for coming because it's
Yeah.
supporting 3 daycare bills. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well, it's heartfelt. It's heartfelt and it's genuine. And that is not lost on me. And I don't think it's lost on the people that come through your doors and have followed you for years and years. So
awesome. Well,
you got a good thing.
thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. It did awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.